When I first entered heaven, I thought I saw what everyone else saw. That in everyone's heaven there were lumbering women throwing shot put and javelin. There were large squat buildings over dismal landscapes with sandy lots, open spaces, and hangings to make them feel more modern. My favorite part was how the blocks were turquoise and orange, just like the blocks at Fairfax High, so I can imagine myself there. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. A story of a young girl, Susie Salmon, her murder, and life beyond. Following the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, after middle school, high school would have been a fresh start. When I got to Fairfax High, I would have insisted on being called Suzanne. I would wear my hair feathered up or in a bun. I would have the body that the boys wanted and the girls envied. But on top of it all, I'd be nice, so they feel too guilty to do anything but worship me. I like to think of myself having reached some sort of queenly status. I was protecting the misfit kids at the cafeteria. When someone taunted Clive Saunders for walking like a girl, I would deliver sweet vengeance to the taunters' less protected parts. At the end of my reveries, I would sit in the back of my father's car as he drove. I was beyond reproach. I would start high school in a matter of days, not years, or inextricably earn an Oscar for Best Actress throughout my junior year. Those were my dreams on earth. After a few days in heaven, I realized that the javelin throwers and the shot putters were all in their own versions of heaven. Theirs just fit with mine. It didn't duplicate precisely, but it had a lot of the same things going on inside. I met Holly, who became my roommate on the 3rd day. She was sitting on the swing set, and I didn't question that the high school had swing sets. That's what made it heaven. Holly sat reading a book in a weird alphabet that I associated with the pork fried rice my father brought home from Hot Fat Kitchen, the place Buckley loved the name of, my little brother. He loved the name of so much, he would yell, "Hop Fat!" at the top of his lungs. Now I know Vietnamese, and I know Vietnamese is not what Herman Jade, who owned Hot Fat, was, and that the Herman Jade was not Herman Jade's real name, but the one he adopted when he came to the U.S. from China. Holly told me all of this, of course. "Hi," I said. "My name is Susie." Later she would tell me she picked her name from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, but that day rolled right off her tongue. "I'm Holly." Because she wanted no trace of an accent in her heaven, she had none. I stared at her black hair. It was shining like the promises in magazines. "How long have you been here?" 3 days? Me too. I sat down on the swing next to her and spun my body round and around and twisted up the chains, and then I let go and spun until I stopped. "Do you like it here?" "No, me neither." So it began. We have been given, in our heavens, our simplest dreams. There are no teachers at our school. We never had to go inside except for art class for me and jazz band for Holly. The boys did not pinch our bag size or tell us that we smelled. Our textbooks were 17 glamour and Vogue. And our heaven expanded as our relationship grew. We wanted many of the same things. Franny, my intake counselor, became our guide. Franny was old enough to be our mother, mid-40s, and it took Holly and me a little while to figure out that had been something we wanted, our mothers. In Franny's heaven, she served and rewarded by results of gratitude. On earth, she had been a social worker for the homeless and destitute and worked out of a church named St. Mary's that served women and children only. She was shot in the face by a man looking for his wife. Franny walked over to Holly and me on the 5th day and handed us Dixie cups filled with Kool-Aid. "I'm here to help." I looked into her eyes and told her the truth. "We're bored." "Well, what do you want?" "I don't know. All you have to do is desire it. And if you desire it enough and really know and understand, then it will come." It seemed so simple, and it was. That's how Holly and I got our duplex. I hated my split level on earth. I hated my parents' furniture and how our house always looked onto another house, and another. An echo of sadness riding up over the hill. Our duplex looked onto a park, and in the distance, just close enough to know that we weren't alone, but not too close enough to where we couldn't see the lights of other houses. Eventually, I began to desire more, and what I found strange was not how much I desired to know what I had not on earth. I wanted to grow up. People grow up by living, I said to her. That's out. Can we at least watch the living? You already do. I think she means whole lives, you know, from beginning to end, to see how they did it, to know secrets, then we can pretend better. You won't experience it. Thank you, Brain Central. But our heavens began to grow. That's when Holly and I set out. Our heaven had an ice cream shop where, when you asked for peppermint stick ice cream, no one ever said, it's seasonal. It had a newspaper where our pictures appeared a lot. It made us look important. It had real men and women in it too, because we were obsessed with fashion magazines. Sometimes Holly would disappear, and I couldn't find her when I went looking. That's when she went to the part of heaven that we didn't share. And I missed her then, but it was an odd sort of missing, because by then I knew the meaning of forever. But I could not have what I wanted most. My murderer, Mr. Harvey, dead, and me living. Heaven wasn't perfect, but I came to believe that if I watched closely and desired, it might change the lives of those I loved on earth.